I wanted to hop on, I want to do these regularly, especially now, like the last 2 months when things were super news driven. Yeah, I mean, even an AI can't predict tweets coming out from the world leaders, just sending the markets all crazy. So it was a little bit hectic, but I mean, now that we're kind of out of that, markets have been trending a bit. AI bought, I think last month was its third ever best month, if I'm not mistaken. Let me share my screen here. Let me know if you guys can see the screen. I think you should be able to. Actually, let me get my chat open on my phone so I don't have to keep going back and forth. You guys can see the screen? No? Okay, can you see the stream now? Okay, hold on. So let me just share video. No, not that one. Okay, let's see here. All right, can you see the screen now? Okay, perfect. Yeah, Kike, I thought you could have like share screens on computer and then chat on phone, but you definitely can't. All good. We got it sorted now. Let's go to the tracker. So first of all, for anyone who is new to the AI bot and hasn't necessarily been using it, this stream will just be kind of a general overview, and I want you guys to ask me questions. I want this stream to be focused on, risk management. How do you take multiple trades? How do you handle, getting filled on 5-10 trades if that's what you have? How do you handle looking for which trades you actually want to take? Things like that. We're going to break down the stats from last month, and then we're going to take a look at a few trades that were given by the AI bot. And then, I want you guys to ask me any questions you have about strategy, any questions you have about risk management, any questions at all that you guys have about the AI bot. So I'm hoping some of the people who have recently got access are also in this stream here so that you guys can learn and understand how to use this. And then in the future too, I want to get other people on, just like we have been doing with Gold Chat, because everyone kind of has a different strategy when it comes to the actual AI bot in terms of, how they manage their risk, how they handle getting filled on 5-10 trades, handle just everything with the bot. So can everyone else see the screen? Panda said she can't make it bigger. It's big. Nice, Reeve. All right. So that's basically what we're going to be doing on this. So for those of you who are new, what we have here inside of the Platinum Access, first of all, you have like your roles and rules, which if you're new, I'd like everyone to go through, and the people who have been here already done this, but this is going to explain everything you need to know about the trades, what each section is, what the stars mean, what the blue stars mean, and then there's the detailed video. But you also have access to this tracker here. So this is literally every single month we upload this tracker. This is going to give you a breakdown of the trades that were closed with the percents that they went, as well as the shorts, longs, all of them there. And it's going to give you a profit breakdown. Now, this is the most important part. Can you guys hear? Is there anyone else who can't hear? Just want to make sure everyone's set before I dive in. Okay, cool. So this is the main thing that you guys are going to want to look at every single month. Obviously, you can take a look at each individual trade. That's fine. But this here is literally what you should be building your strategy off of. So this is going to tell you what percent of all of the trades of the month went 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, all the way up to 10%. And it's also going to give you the star trade statistics. Star trades are trades that have a high hit rate of going at least 2%. So you can see here, trades with 2% profit or more, 33 of the 41 that were given, marked by our bot with the gold trade. So that's 80.4%, went at least 2%, which is crazy. Like, when you actually think of that, that is an insane number, especially when we get up into here and we're looking at 145 trades for the entire month, with 119 of those going at least 2%. And when you're building a strategy for the AI bot, I think this is like, you know, the benchmark here that you can be looking at to like take your first actions, right? Is 2 or 3%. So the drop off from 2 to 3% goes to 64 versus 82. So, you know, realistically, strategically, if you wanted to get the most out of these bots, just repeatedly over and over and over, this at least 2% stat is always sitting around like 80 to 85%, like if we go to last month. So again, these past months were a bit rough just due to the nature of the market, but you know, you're even sitting at like 64, 72, January was 60. So over half the trades always, you know, like 74. So you can see how good the last month was, and that's because we've been trending. Like literally almost 90% of trades went 1%, which is just, it's insane. So I think personally, when I approach this, I look at it, you come into these stats, especially at a baseline. If you're new to this, you haven't developed your own strategy for it. You're trying to figure out how to go about using the bot, especially, you know, sometimes there's 15, 20 different trades. This is what I would look at here, is the 2%. So at least 2% of trades went to, sorry, at least 2%. There was 82% of all trades went at least 2%. So, you know, you can use this as a benchmark to say, okay, every time a trade goes to 2%, I'm going to take my TP1 and move stops. You're going to have an 82% win rate, and you're going to take home 50% of whatever that is on your position size, margin, risk management every single time. You do that 119 times over a month, like simple math, even whatever, divided by 30. You know, it's like 4 trades a day on average that you're taking a 2% profit on and moving stops break even. And then, you know, like decent chunk of those are running even further. So like, just really simply, I think like you can use this 2% number as sort of your benchmark to say either just move stops to break even to try to ride them higher like this, or, you know, take whatever, 50% off, 30% off, let the rest run and just stops break even, and you're going to have an 82% win rate. So this is the reason why we give you guys these statistics here, so that you can kind of base your strategy off of. You can kind of look at these and say, okay, you know, this is, and you can take the average of like the last 4 months, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but the numbers are there for you. But what I would suggest is like that 2% mark or 3% mark, you know, even a 65% win rate of trades going at least 3%, like that's great. And then it gets into like, we do have a not dynamic, we have a 5% statistic or a static stop loss. That will be getting updated eventually. As you guys know, right now we're working on the indicator. So that kind of has like our full attention, but the 5% stop won't always be a 5% stop. So you'll have stops, you know, be anywhere from 3 to 5%, whatever they may be, based on what the bot deems necessary. So your risk to reward will go up. But what I suggest for now is just doing that 5% stop, and it does kind of skew your RR depending on, you know, how you're looking at it. If you're doing your own stop losses instead of the bot stop losses, which you can do if you're more advanced, like that's what I do when I take them, especially for something like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like 5% stop is, you know, it's massive. So I'll be looking at anywhere from like 1.5 to maybe 2.5 on something like Bitcoin and Ethereum based on just my own TA with the bot entry. But yeah, just want to show you guys and make sure that you guys are fully aware of using these statistics, because you can really base your strategy off of this here, and that's exactly what it's for. So yeah, outside of that, I mean, for people who are new, you obviously have trade section. This is where your trades will come in. You know, each trade has a chart showing you what the bot is looking at, gives you a stop loss and entry. And again, these stop losses for now are static, but will be eventually not just 5%. You have your running trades. So this will tell you all of the trades that are running. You have your active trades. broken down by majors being Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sol, top 25 caps, high caps, mid caps, low caps. Now, good point in here too is the lower you go down here, the more risky they are. So in terms of risk management, in terms of strategy, you need to understand that. I suggest if you're new, maybe just do mid caps and up, or just like fully like lower your size on low caps, because the low caps can put in massive moves, but they can also stop you in one candle. It's the nature of the liquidity in the market cap of these coins. So mid caps, high caps, top 25 and majors, much higher liquidity, much more respect for levels. And you'll see this as you start to test things out and play with it for yourself. So is everyone else's connection going out or just Talisman? Okay, cool. So yeah, you have your trades active here. This is where all of your trades will be shown to you, like the ones that the AI bot currently is waiting to have filled. And then if you don't want to set, if you don't want to have like 10 limits set just in case something happens, there's also proximity alerts, which every time a coin is 2% or 1.5% away, you'll be alerted here, right? So, a coin's 1.5% away, you could go into your chart, you could just set the entry now that it's getting close, and you could kind of fill them as you go. Maybe you have like 2 trades filled, go stop loss break even on those at the 2%, 3% mark, whatever your strategy may be. Then you can start to fill more as the proximity alerts come in. But sometimes you'll also get, like a big wick candle down or something quick, where if you do have, 5 to 10 limits, you're going to get filled on all of those. So the other thing I want to talk about is risk management, because, if you're risking 1 or 2% per trade and you're loading up 5, 10 trades, immediately you could have 10 to 15% of your account at risk. And it doesn't matter if the hit rate is 82%. If Trump sends something out saying China and them don't have a deal or something fell through, you're going to eat a ton of stops, and it's just not going to be worth it. So again, obviously risk management is the number one thing in trading, and there is no difference when it comes to AI bot. It's like, you have to respect it. So do you have any suggestions on how to take profits? If it goes 2%, I don't want to exit completely, but I also don't want to have a tiny gain. Not sure how to manage that. So I think what you need to focus on is, statistically speaking, you have 145 trades in a month. 119 of those go 2%. So whatever, say you take 50% off at a 2% move on 119 trades. Yes, individually, each trade may not seem like a lot, but that's 120 trades. Like, again, that's like 4 trades a day that you're taking profits on a 2% move. I mean, I'm not doing 4 trades a day where I'm at least taking 2% move every single day over a month. Like, I'm just not. Like, so that's not to mention that you are just taking whatever, say 50% at 2, but X amount of trades are going, like 30% of all trades went 9%. So you're cashing in on a lot more than just that 2% move, but you're at least taking 2% off you're at least taking 50% off on a 2% move on 120 trades. So yes, it may seem like a tiny gain trade by trade, but the law of compounding, your account's going to consistently go up. That 50% off at 2% move continues to rise in value every single time. And 4 a day is not insignificant, right? That's like taking 1 trade and it goes whatever, say 5, 6, 8%, and you take 50% off. Like, in a similar vein, you're really stacking profits quickly by doing this. And so I think you just need to view it like holistically as a whole over the month. That's why I say look at these stats, as opposed to like, I'm in 1 trade and I took 2%, and it may be just even 0.5% of my portfolio, or a 0.25% gain. But when you think about doing that every single day, 4 times a day, like, that adds up and it compounds. So I think you just need to view it from that lens. And that's, again, not to mention the rest of the trades that go 5%, 6%, 7%. Some go literally crazy, like, some go 67%, 52, 52, 48, 37, 30, 25, right? Like, you're catching all of these as well, even though you took half off. And it may suck because you're like, oh, well, the trade went 67%, but I took half off at 2. But that's why also you need to, like, like this AI bot isn't going anywhere. So these are things that like, okay, this month, this is the strategy I'm going to use, right? Like you guys need to just take these and also build your own strategies, test them for 1 month and say, this entire month, I'm taking 50% off at 2% move. See what happens to your portfolio. If it works, continue to do it. Then maybe next month you're like, okay, I'm going to do it all at 3% this time, or I'm just going to move stops break even at 2%. Let them ride to take 50% off of 4 or 5%, whatever it may be, right? So you just kind of have to play with the different strategies. So does anyone else have any questions on the actual breakdown of the stats, you know, the running trades, the different sections, things like that? Because I know one thing that everyone's going to approach differently is like the risk management side of things, because sometimes you get filled on 10 trades. So it's like, how are you managing your risk? Are you doing 1% per trade? Are you doing 0.5? Like, how are you guys approaching this? And, you know, that's where there is no wrong answer. And that's why I want to get other people up to share their strategy, you know. Not today. We'll just do basic today, but. So does anyone else have any questions on how to take profits, how to manage their risks, how to take on multiple positions, how they're even approaching it? Like, I know Panda's been absolutely killing it. Like, she got access not long ago. And, like, you know, this the power of the bot. Like, native, obviously. But, like, look at this. 10%, 5%, 2%, 2.3, 2.5, well, 5%, 5%, 7%, 10%. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, native is the bot for real. But I just want everyone to understand that, like, the last 2 months for the bot were difficult. It doesn't even matter if it's for the AI bot or the best traders in the game or anyone. It's been difficult. It's been very difficult. But we're not in that same market anymore. Like, currently, like, maybe we'll go back. Doesn't matter. But right now, like, you know, this here, this news-driven garbage PA that was just impossible to predict or understand, even for an AI bot, was terrible. We broke out of here. Our bot has been absolutely printing. And like, I've seen the AI bot in trending environments, and you guys are also seeing it now. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. Like, we'll go over a bunch of the trades here that I have for us to review, but they were all filled on the same day, because this is what the bot does. It, like, you'll get your higher high, and every time happened to be here, it was on the 30th. It's like every single chart will just be the same, right? It's all filled on the 30th, but the bot understands, like, because the bot takes into account, first of all, everything in the market. Like, it's an AI bot. It's crunching data every single millisecond from all of these charts, the market wide, everything. And it's learning, it's getting better and better. Like, this isn't just a static thing. This is AI. You guys understand how that works. And so it knows when the market has, you know, made its higher high, whatever, and the level it wants to bid across the market. Like, all of these charts we're going to go to and review all got filled on the same day, because the bot knows where the market wants to pull back to. Is it always right? No, of course not. Nothing is. But statistically, it's very right. It's got 82% of all trades going 2%. You know, that's all you need to make a shit ton of money. So I just want you guys to realize that the last 2 months were a bit rough, but you guys really need to be utilizing this bot. If you have access, like, people would kill to have access to this. And I want to make sure that every single person in this Discord is absolutely printing to the full capabilities with this. So we're going to continue to do these. We're going to bring people up. We're going to look at different strategies that they use. We're going to understand risk management. We're going to understand the bot in and out. Okay, let's see some questions here. Would you recommend not taking bot trades if we get a bunch filled on the weekend? I mean, like, this weekend we got a bunch filled, and like, stressed. Yeah, you're underwater, and, you know, you're chopping around for 2 days, and it looks like it's going to go to stop, and then it doesn't. It looks like it's going to go to stop, and then it doesn't. But I don't think we took many stops, if any at all, over the weekend on the positions. Lots of them got filled, and in the recent bounce, just from yesterday, like, I know a lot of them actually played out, and probably at least for the 2%. But what I would suggest is, right, like FOMC is this Wednesday. We know there's volatility and it's unpredictable and it's on the whim of someone's words, so no one knows fully what's going to happen. Weekends we know are low volumes. We know the volatility can be there, and it doesn't have to make sense. You can get wicked out for liquidity runs and just low volume reasons. So I suggest either just taking less trades or just risking less, right? You don't always have to risk the same static amount. If it's a weekend, risk half. If it's a holiday, risk half. If it's FOMC or whatever, risk half or take half the positions, right? Even if you catch half the positions that day because you're being risk averse, there's nothing wrong with that. You're making money. For me, I'm still struggling with the TP and stop loss levels. So I use proper risk management. I have 10 trades, then it's divided by risk. If you then TP at 2% with 5% risk, the gains are on the small side. Also struggling to update trades. I sometimes get lost in the alerts. Yeah, so that's the other thing you can do, like Panda's saying that even Native has suggested is like you could just take the 2% run, and it's not pretty when you see trades go whatever, but like that's not the point. If you're sticking to that strategy of just taking 2%, or sorry, taking full profits at 2 or 3% and running, your account is going to grow. Like that's like doing that on 4 trades a day statistically from the last month. Your account's going to grow for sure, even with proper risk management of the 5%. Now, in terms of taking too many trades, what I would suggest if you're overwhelmed by the amount of trades is just focus on like high caps, top 25, and majors. Like you don't have to take all of the low caps and the mid caps because it can get to be a lot. Managing 10 trades for anyone is a lot, even if it's from an AI bot that is like robotic. You get filled on 10 trades, your brain scrambles, right? So what I suggest is either, like I said, get filled on 2-3 trades at 2%, move stops or take some profits, wait for more proximity alerts, get filled on those. So that's one strategy you can use, or just, don't take as many trades and just risk a little bit more on each one. Yeah, I'm considering doing the same thing, Mello, just like trying an account where I just flat 2% and take a TP. But what I've also been thinking is just the 2% is taking 75% off and just letting the rest run and trying to catch some of those big runners. Like I might try that as well. Yeah, 2% daily on 4 trades a day. Like I'm not doing that on my own trading. You know what I mean? All I got to do is set limits from the bot and statistically whatever, even 3 trades a day at 2%. Like sweet. And again, if you're more advanced at trading, you don't have to do the 5% stop. I want you guys to also utilize this. Like we have bot discussions, right? Like this bot here, I want everyone to be talking about the trades, right? If you guys are curious of a different stop loss for the trade that doesn't have to be 5%, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? Like, this Bitcoin trade has a 5% stop. If Bitcoin trades under this wick, I'm not holding this for another 2.5 personally. Like, there's no chance. If we close under, like, I'm not holding this if we're closing under here. I'm probably not even going to hold if we're closing under here. I'm not even going to lie. Like, if we lose this level and we start closing under here, I'm not holding this trade. I'm going to cut it. But again, if you don't understand trading, then you may not be able to have confidence in making those moves. But that's why this bot discussion channel is here, because I want everyone to talk about, okay, what's the strategy you're using? Should I move my stops? Is there a better stop for this? Where are you guys taking profits? Blah blah blah. Not sure if you're able to speak on this, but do you guys have something in the pipeline similar to automating? I know we've talked about it in the past, automation. I don't know how much like that's been in the works or what that is, but there was talks about like API set up where something like that would happen, but I'll have to ask Native about that to see what does the 3 commas do. It just basically like automates what you want. So if you want like a 2% automatic take profit or move stops, like it just does that, or what does it do? You can set strict parameters, move break even after 2%. And it's just like API access to your exchange, basically. Cool. Is it free? Teal Street type deal? Yeah, like per month. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, in the future we might have something like that. I'm not too sure. Like we got so much on the go, especially with this indicator for you guys right now. So there's always a pipeline of stuff we're working on, and I think coming soon also will be, you know, like the dynamic stops and take profit ideas and stuff for bot levels and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, typically when I'm trading, I'm only like I only like to really focus on like mid caps and up. Sometimes I'll only do high caps, 25 and majors, just because like the low caps can make moves, but you know, there's enough trades and these higher conviction things for me that, you know, I'm willing to risk better on these than I am on this. But yeah, I mean, one of the strategies I think that would just make the most sense for people is like just have 2 or 3 limits set. You know, when they go to 2 or 3%, move your stops, break even, take some off, whatever. Wait for new proximity alerts. That's probably the easiest way to like stack multiple trades without, you know, getting super stressed about the risk. But the same way that we got active in gold chat over this year with strategies, you know, people collabing, sharing plays. I want the same energy from everyone in this bot discussions, right? Like, let's talk about the trades. Let's talk about the strategies we're using. Let's talk about where we're taking profits. Let's, you know, this bot, now that we're coming into trending environments, is just going to continue to print ridiculously, especially if we continue. And like, I want everyone to be getting the full use out of this thing. Yeah, exactly. If you're doing the low caps, I suggest the same thing. Just use half risk. Like chances for stop are higher, but also chances for, you know, it running past 4 or 5% are higher as well. Yeah, like look at that. Like crazy statistics. But yeah, we'll just take a look at a few trades here. So you guys can understand better how the ball works in trending environments. All these trades I'm about to show were called around the same time and or had been called as price was consolidating. But, you know, we topped out here. We didn't sweep this until way later. And, you know, we were just chopping around. But bot called these trades on Bitcoin right around here. And we're in this like little range. But all these trades got filled on the same day that we're about to look at. Bitcoin got filled. ETH got filled, gave you a 7% move. And at the same time, all of these got filled on the same day. So like this is how the bot operates in trending environments. It knows where a very logical retest is based across so much shit that I can't even explain. It's AI. It's analyzing every individual candlestick across the market, indexes, just everything, just more than we can even comprehend. That's the whole point. So it understands where there is realistically going to be a nice retest and bounce zone. And so that's what it does in trending environments. In ranging, it's a little tougher because, well, it's ranging environment, right? So it gave these trades all filled on the same day, the 30th, when we got the nice pullback retrace into the level that it was indicating across like the majors, but then also all the alts fill as well. So you can see Aave was a beautiful trade, 13.7%. And in a trending environment, this is what you want to see, right? Bunch of liquidity swept out across the board, and just nice move higher to create like another higher high, right? So you got just structure-wise, your higher highs, and now maybe bot trade just has a bunch of stuff in here. We'll see, but same thing, and it'll just keep doing that. And I've seen instances where, okay, we all get filled on like these trades, like pretty nasty retrace here, but I've also seen them where like, we had all the bids on other stuff, whatever, around like here, where now not only are you filled on all these trades here, but you also get filled on a bunch of trades here for like the higher low. And then you make another higher high, and so on and so forth. And you're in like trades that are just trending up and up and up across the board, filling more and more and more as you go up. Like the bot gets really, really crazy in trending environments. And again, it's AI, so it's just literally getting better and better. EOS, beautiful, 16%, 0.79% underwater. Like you literally filled and never spent a second underwater, straight up. Same day, April 30th, right? Same day, all the stuff got filled. ADA, same thing. Beautiful retest, puts in a higher low, while at least sweeps out liquidity. This gave you an 8.4. IOTA, same thing. Beautiful reaction, 10% move. Arrow, smaller cap coin, 30% move. Again, literally just fills, sweeps out liquidity, nothing but up. All filled on the same day. So the way that this bot works in trending environments is just insane. And I just want everyone to understand that, because I know people can be hesitant to take bot trades. The worst thing is when you take a specific bot trade, take an L, and then whatever, you wait 3-4 days, you take another one and you take an L, and it just feels like every trade you take is just against you. But in reality, the best and most effective way to actually capitalize on the bot is by taking all the trades. Well, as many as you can, managing your risk, that is, because it's a game of numbers. It doesn't matter if you took the two that stopped in the month, like it doesn't reflect the actual statistics of the bot, right? You just kind of got the shit end of the stick, and you decided to randomly enter two trades which didn't play out, and that just doesn't bode well for like the law of averages, right? You got 145 trades, like you need to take the majority as much as you can within managing your risk. And don't ever not manage your risk, because like I said, you could go 3/4 through the month just playing so well, just like anything in this game, and then you decide to just, things are going well, bot's on fire, whatever, I'm going to risk up and blow 15-20% of your account because of a tweet. You just regret it all and your whole month's gone. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. You just always have to make sure that you are managing that risk. Yeah, exactly. Like Panda said, one cascade, everyone gets 20 stop losses. Like that can happen. 10,000 ways to die, episode 341. I struggled so much with the bot trades when I first got access in the choppy environment. Bot was making me poor. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to make apparent here, is that like it doesn't matter if it's an AI bot or the best traders in the game. The last little while, outside of the previous month, were terrible. Just terrible. Nothing and no one was just absolutely killing it. Sure, there's some outliers, whatever, but the market was not designed for anything except just chaos. Literal chaos. We had historic events in traditional markets. We had like the superpowers of the world, Trump and China and all these people like literally fighting it out on the global stage. It's like, it's just not the environment for trades. It's not the environment for anything to make sense. And so what we're seeing now with trending environment, this is how the bot operates. And this is why I want to have these calls. I want to get everyone back into understanding exactly what this thing can do, so that we can all capitalize on it. And, I want to learn from you guys too. Like same when I bring people up on gold, again, I've been trading 2.5 years, and I've used these bots for about 1 year plus, just building this with Woods and Dow, Native and everyone. And so, I am very familiar with them, but I see other people with different strategies and like coming up and explaining how they use the bots or how they view them or different combinations. And I learn from you guys, right? Like I'm just teaching what I know because I want to see everyone succeed, and I'm just doing that to the best of my ability. But like, people like Panda just came into the bot and she's absolutely crushing it. And she's using 3 commas I've never heard of, right? Like it's just cool to see how everyone approaches things differently and everyone makes money with it. And I want to continue to like harbor that and get everyone active in bot discussions across all these and stuff. So does the bot take into account those percent profit if it comes back to entry? You can re-enter, yeah. So enter a trade, then goes up through 5%, then goes back to entry, and say we see it in running. Would we re-enter at the same price, or those win stats are only based on the first initial pump? It's just based on how high it goes. So, if 82% of trades went at least 2% and all folded over, like, 82% of trades still went 2%. So you can base your strategy on like that number, right? If a trade goes 5% and comes back, like the bot doesn't account for like, oh, I've moved stops break even. So if you have a shit coin like this, whatever, and just whatever, say it like popped up, came back down, but it went like, 5%, whatever, it wouldn't like say, okay, it stopped break even. It would just count it, whether it hits 5% break or we close them after 5 days. That's like, so you can see here, like reason, like the trade's not closed, but for purposes of like accounting the trades and keeping it so there's not 10 million trades running in there, you can do whatever you want, but we close it after 5 days, right? The trade was never invalidated. Trade literally still running if you're in it and you haven't exited. If it goes up and comes back down, like it's still running unless it stops or does this, but it'll just count, 2%, 3%, 5%, whatever, statistically, so you can understand how to like take profits and whatnot. But you can re-enter too. So, we're in a super choppy environment. I mean, like even this, right? It's just like, it's a clear level. Like you're probably not going to play it again. Like I don't know why you'd play it again unless you have your own triggers, because this bot trade itself is played out and closed because it's been 5 days. But yeah, you can take the trade again if it bounces, it comes back down. You probably only want to play the level twice if something like that happens, but obviously it's up to each individual. But I think this has been good. You guys have been asking a lot of questions, and that's exactly what I wanted. So if anyone else has any more questions on execution, on risk management, about strategy, how the AI bot works, like now's the time, let me know. Yeah, that's real smart. Real smart. Look for divs. I like that. So if you got, your first entry here, second entry, formed out a div, whatever, say this is your RSI. First entry comes in, your RSI. You can take like the second entry, look to compound. So even if you took profits here, you can look to add back here, or you can look to compound with, invalidation breaking the div, whatever you want to do. It's a good point. How do you know when to close when something has been underwater and then comes back to entry? Native's pretty good at that, and that's a good point. He always points it out with like the actual bot levels. So he'll say like, if price closes above or below the level, and you guys will have access to indicators soon enough anyways too, so we can make like some videos on how he approaches that aspect of it. But typically like the levels themselves are super strong. So he'll say, if we've spent enough time underwater and you get like the bearish retest, because majority of the time too, you do get this before a trade will actually hit stop loss. And he'll call them out when he can. Obviously he can't handhold everyone for every single trade, but we'll make some strategies on how to do that, because lots of the time, like I said, you'll go underwater and you'll get the chance back to entry because, right, like these levels are so strong. that if you flip below it, right, it acts inversely, right? Like this is where you want to see a bounce. This is where you want that higher low in the market where we got this here because, right, like I said, if we were to do this and we were to start accepting below here, I would cut the trade manually. I'm not waiting for a 5% stop down here. Like my trade, the market's invalidated in and of itself long before this. So, you know, you kind of watch for it to be underwater and then whatever, like coming into here, you get 5-minute dibs and rejections, or you just get more 4-hour, 1-hour candle closes below, whatever your trigger may be. But again, right, that's kind of up to each individual, how they invalidate a trade, how they would say that a level's not being flipped, how long, how much time has been spent underneath the level, things like that. So that's where, you know, bot discussions, like let's get active, let's figure out the best strategy forward to, you know, invalidate trades, or if it should be invalidated, or tag native, and he'll give you the update on like what he views with the levels and stuff. I feel like if you got this initial reaction, right, you filled here, what was that? Right, you got like a 3% pop. First of all, your stops would probably be break even, but you know, then you come back up and you reject it. It's like, I mean, clearly downtrending, right? Get something like this versus price just testing in like this and then going higher. So tons of different ways to interpret it. Or like Hertz is saying, you get your first entry, then say this is the div, but it breaks, you know, showing that like there isn't most likely going to be a change in momentum. Then you can also look for another reason to cut it out there. But yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions, we'll probably wrap it up around there. I just wanted to get on here, show people who are new the channels, kind of break down how the bot works, and then just go over the stats of last month to show you guys that like this, the new environment that we're in isn't the same as the last 2 months. For myself included, right? I haven't been taking as many bot trades last month as I should have because of the prior 2 months PTSD from the markets being so shit. So like, you know, I'm transparent as can be too. I haven't been taking as many bot trades as I should be either. But you know, I'm reviewing the stats. I'm realizing that like if I'm probably not taking as many bot trades as I usually do, then other people aren't too. So calls like this need to start happening where we go over it, we review it, we look at the hard numbers and realize that like, you know, we're back in the environment where this thing prints. Let's come up with strategies. Let's work together. Let's make as much money as possible. This thing in a bull market is going to be literally ridiculous. And so, you know, let's shake that PTSD from the past shitty months and make as much money as possible with this thing, because it just literally gets better and better and better. This isn't just a static product that this, what you see is what you get. This thing gets better and better and better with every trade, every candle. Yeah, and all you guys who are talking about doing like the 2% statistic, take profits and stuff, like I said, let's get active in bot discussions. Like, tell us how it's going, you know, explain how you're taking 5, 10 trades, whatever. Talk about, should we cut this trade? Should we take profits here? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm going to get active in here. I expect everyone else to get active in here. But yeah, I mean, as always too, anytime you guys have questions past this, you know, hit me up in here, bot discussions, native. You can always tag native if you have questions about the bot. He'll always, you know, like drift into stop loss, any suggestion, it gave reaction, but then just died. So like he'll give you breakdowns, right, on what's happened, as well as like what, because he sees what the bot sees in the back end. Like he's coded this whole thing. He sees the things that we can't necessarily see in the data. So he can give you breakdowns of what happened, or if we should move stop losses or close the trade early if it doesn't reclaim. So definitely lean into native in here. as much as you can. Like, he's extremely busy, obviously, but he'll get back to you whenever he can, and I'll answer anything I can as well. But yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm probably going to wrap it up soon here. I'm going to do another stream probably in like 2-3 hours from now inside of Gold Chat, just going over like my plans for the week, just hanging out, like another live stream, do some charts. I can throw some bot levels on charts for you guys and just plan out what the week has in store, what I'm looking at, just hang out. Yeah, no problem. I hope this was helpful for you guys, because like I want to keep running these, and I want to just, yeah. My whole goal with everything, Gold Chat, Platinum, everything, is just make all you guys literally fuck you money. Like, I want you guys to just utilize the tools and bots and AI in here to just, whatever your financial goals are, life goals, whatever, like, you guys have access to some of the most insane stuff inside of this Discord, and I just want to make sure everyone gets like the full value out of it. So yeah, no problem, guys. Thank you for coming. Thanks for asking all these questions too. I definitely wanted this to be aimed towards the concerns and stuff that you guys had. So this has been perfect. All right, guys, we're going to look to wrap it up there. Like I said, any questions, just hit me up in there, and probably do these like every bi-weekly or something, but we'll keep it running. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll let you know when I'm going live in Gold Chat. I'll give you guys like an hour or two heads up. Talk to you guys later.